Record ownership is at the core of Salesforce's record access capabilities, which allows you to specify which users should be able to access specific records. Now, records can have a designated owner or owners. Record ownership recognizes the responsibility that people take for various touch points with their customers. So, for example, a sales rep like Antonella is adding contacts into Salesforce to manage the individuals that she does business with, while Jane and Blair share the workload of new support cases being created to better serve our customers or their customers more efficiently. They can share the workload of records as a member of a queue. Queues are collections of records that prioritize, distribute, and assign records to teams who share workloads. Users who have access to a queue can review records in their queue and claim ownership of those records. Now, record owners have special privileges with records that they are the owner of. This is called full access. I want you to remember full access as vested privileges to your records. VESTD. I know this is not how you spell vested, but stick with me. Now, given the appropriate permissions, a record owner can view, edit, share, transfer, and delete their own records. Sharing means sharing your record to other users or groups of users, and transferring means to transfer your record to another user or another queue, for example. Let's take a look at a few records within Salesforce to view the different privileges as a record owner, depending on what permissions that have been granted to them through their profile or using any permission sets and permission set groups. Now, I am going to act as Colby Clay within this org, and let's take a look at an account and a contact record that Colby owns to look at some of these vested privileges or record ownership privileges. So if I come up to the Contacts tab, within this My Contacts list view, meaning the contacts that Colby owns, let's go ahead and open up Angelica's contact record for Universal Camping. Now, one thing to notate, because I'm able to access the Contacts tab and I was able to access this individual record that Colby owns as Colby, that means that he already has that view privilege. And if I come up to the top right-hand corner, you notice I have a couple buttons here. One being Edit. So Colby does have these permissions granted, and he can edit his own contact records. He also has the ability to share the contact records that he owns, and he does have the ability to delete records that he owns. Now, this again is going to go back to his permissions for the object. And I want you to keep in mind those CRED settings, the ability to create, read, and edit or delete object by object. But let's jump over to an account record. So if I go to the Accounts tab, I see a list of account records. Let's go into Chicago Footwear to see if we can see a difference here. Again, Colby can view his own account records, and if I again navigate up to the top right-hand corner, I can see that Colby has the ability to edit his own account records. He can share his own account records, but what I'm not seeing here, even in that drop-down, is the ability to delete his own account records. So Colby is not fully vested in his own account records. What I like to say is he's only wearing a vest for account records. He does not have the delete permission for the account object through his profile or through any permission sets or permission set group assignments. Now, although we saw two object records that do have owners, like Colby was for Angelica's contact record and our Chicago account, there can be records in Salesforce that an owner is not visible. This is dependent on the object's relationship to another object. So, for example, the owner of a record may be inherited from a parent object. So, to tie it all together, the owner of a record can view, edit, share, transfer, and delete records that they own if they have the correct permissions, of course. This is referred to as having full access. Also, users other than the record owner that can inherit full access to records are admin users with the modify all data permission and users in higher roles within the role hierarchy. Those permissions will be dictated by the needs of the business and what a user should have access to do for their job function implemented by the admin.